Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to do my very first book haul of 2021, which I'm super excited about. If you guys haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to my content, and let's get into the book haul. I have been on a bit of a book buying ban this year because I have like 30 books just like strewn around my house that I have been like, I need to read, and then all these like new books come out and I just keep getting distracted and I just don't get through them all. So at the start of the year I was like, no, I'm not buying any more books until I read a good portion of those that I already have. And I kind of got through them, but every time I'd walk into Kmart, I would just find new books to buy. And even if I had a really strict list that I told myself I was only going to buy the books that I had already on my wish list, on Book Depository, and somehow I managed to stray from that really, really badly. So let me show you what I have bought in my latest book haul. Okay, let's get this started. So the first book I bought was called Wild Nights in Texas. And I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I went through a serious cowboy romance phase, like serious cowboy romance phase. It got to the point where I just was like, I just wanted to just find like a random small town and just like go there and meet a cowboy who owns a ranch and fall in love. But yeah, so instead I just read cowboy romances and live vicariously through those characters. But yeah, so this one basically took my fancy. I've not read a book by Dolores Fossin before. A lot of the books that I had read that were cowboy romances were by Becky Barker. Love her, she's amazing. She's a self-published author as well. Joanna, someone's. A lot of them were source books, romances, so that kind of helps. If anyone is after a list of the cowboy romance books, I can easily post one. Let me know in the comments down below, and I will do a video on all my cowboy romance books. A lot of them are also on my iPad, so they're ebooks, but that's fine. I can do a very good video on those. But yeah, so this book basically is, I'm trying to see it in this light. It's about a former child star, Badly Hadley Dalton, can't shake the nickname she got on Little Cowgirls, the reality show that made her famous. Another thing she can't shake, her attraction to hometown heartthrob Leighton Jameson. After their teen makeout session was televised, Leighton ended their relationship and Hadley left town. But when she learns her beloved Granny M has gone missing, Hadley returns home and immediately lands in hot water. Leighton has wanted Hadley since he first knew what desire was. Searching for M together makes all that heat and all their differences impossible to ignore. That's my dog, if you can hear her. Hadley's past is riddled with bad decisions, ones that are suddenly rearing their ugly head. Believing she's too much to handle for a good guy cop, Hadley doesn't think Leighton can ever overlook her faults. But Leighton will sign up for a lifetime of troubles if it means this wild ride will never end. It's so sweet! I'm super excited to read that one. So that's the first book I bought. The next book I bought is called Influence. And so this is by Sarah Shepherd, who is the famous author of Pretty Little Liars. And it's also by Leela Buckingham, which I am told is an influencer. I don't know, I did not buy this book based on the fact that she wrote it. It's just like Magpie Society. I don't know if you guys have seen, but Magpie Society is written by Zoe Sugg, who is also a very famous influencer. But I tend to not buy my books based off of influencers co-writing them or putting their names to them. I more buy them based off of, I like the idea of the plot. And so basically, yeah, so Influence, this is a YA novel. And it's the back of it is Delilah is internet famous in LA and at the start of something incredible. Everything is going to change, but not necessarily in the way she imagines. Jasmine is a child star turned media darling. Her selfies practically break Instagram. But if the world knew who Jasmine really was, cancelled. Fiona is everyone's best friend, always smiling, but on the inside, the girl's a hot mess. If they discover her secret, it wouldn't just embarrass her, it would ruin her. Scarlett isn't just styled to perfection, she is perfection, with a famous boyfriend and an online fanbase devouring her every move. But every perfect thing has a fatal flaw. To everyone, clicking, DMing, following and favouring, these girls are living the dream. But are they really? The sun is hot in California and someone's going to get burned. Sounds really cool. I was a really big fan of Anna Kay, even though I stopped it halfway through because the plotline was just going to kill me and shatter me to pieces. The writing itself is absolutely magical. I felt like this was going to be along those lines of being kind of fresh and modern and about, you know, internet sensations, social media apps, and I just feel like, yeah, this is why more books should be along those lines because that's obviously more relevant to today. Okay, so I got that one. So the next book I got is called Heiress on Fire. This book I love the idea of. It is, after accidentally blowing up her husband, can Indigo get back on her 4-inch heels? The marriage of Aussie billionaire heiress Indigo Daisy Violet Amber Husluck Royce Jones Bomberg to conscientious reconstructive surgeon Dr. Richard Bomberg has come to a spectacular end. In the middle of a cocktail party, Indigo sent him a mysterious... Oh my god, what is wrong with me? Indigo set him and a mysterious redhead on fire and then blew them and the penthouse up. All terrible accidents. When detectives discover explosive devices remain in the charred penthouse, they gun for Indigo. Unless she can remain upright, stuff her dignity into her Chanel clutch and uncover the mysterious redhead's identity, she's going to jail. To help Indigo, her semi-retired, semi-Buddhist supermodel mother hires Esmeralda, a recent graduate of the Model Mentor Prison Program, as Indigo's personal assistant. Indigo and Esmeralda traverse Sydney's upper-class underbelly, picking locks, outsmarting bankers and leprechauns, beating up feared gangsters, breaking into hospitals, setting a cathedral on fire, another terrible accident, bribing a giant fireman, and some other stuff. How hard can all this be for an heiress and a felon? I think it just sounds so cool. I love the fact it's set in Sydney. I feel like we just don't get a lot of books set in Australia. And the ones that are just not great. Like, no, let me rephrase that. It's not that they're not great, it's just that we just don't get anything set in modern day world. Everything, if it's a romance, it's like a rural romance. And as much as it's nice to read about, you know, a rural doctor finding love with a farmer, most of Australia is urbanized. So to constantly be publishing books about, you know, rural romances, to me makes no sense. And I guess it kind of perpetuates the whole idea of people believing that we ride kangaroos around as like modes of transport and, you know, we live on acres and acres of land, and it's not true. Like most of Australia is urbanized, just the same as what it is in America. You know, we all, you know, take buses and trains and cars and yeah, it just frustrates me. So I'm so glad about this book. I'm super happy to read it. And I just kind of wish more publishers would, Australian publishers especially, would kind of step out of the box of only wanting to publish rural romances and start publishing some more urban romances. But yeah, so that's my little gripe. My other gripe, oh my god, okay. I hate these size books. I find them to be monstrously huge. And okay, side note, I read a lot on the toilet, okay? Like, really bad, but I always find, you know, I've got like, you know, a few minutes, so I may as well just like read. And these are just huge. Not to mention, they take up so much room in my bookshelf and they're just heavy and I I just don't like the size. So obviously when a book comes out and they only come out in this size, I'm like, okay, well I have to buy this book. But publishers this year are bringing out the books from last year in like this size, which is way more economical. And I've already got the book, so there's no point in me buying a book that's this size and going back and buying it this size. But like, I'm like, dude, why could you not bring out the same book, the two different sizes already a year before? Can someone please tell me why? Because it just frustrates the hell out of me. And yeah, I would just like to know, thank you, because I'm sick of buying big books. I hate them. I really, really do. Anyway, rant over. So the next book I bought was The French Photographer by Natasha Lester. She is an Australian author of, I guess, a lot of her books are historical fiction, and a lot of them have like a really nice twist. A lot of them are very feminine, protagonist based, which are really nice. And I bought The French Photographer because I want to have a collection of her books, and I've already got Her Mother's Secret, and I've got it sitting over there, the Paris Secret. And so I'm just missing The Paris Seamstress and A Kiss from Mrs. Fitzgerald, and then I've collected everything. So yeah, so that was why I bought that. And so next I bought this book here, which is called Law, which is kind of basically right now in everyone on Instagram's photos, reviews. It's just like such a hyped book, really talked about. There's a lot of publicity surrounding this book, but I didn't buy it based off the publicity. I didn't buy it based off of the publicity. I bought it because it just sounds like a genuinely interesting storyline. Basically, it mixes Greek mythology with kind of today's modern day world in New York. It's just such a unique storyline, which I've never really read about before, and so I was excited. But I just realized I was reading the blurbs of all these other books and I'm not reading them. Oh, get my shit together, girlfriend. Okay. So I'll read you the blurb of Law, and then I'll go back and read you The French Photographer. Oh my god. So hunt or be hunted. In modern day New York, a murderous game is about to begin. The Aegon. Every 7 years for 1 week only, Zeus punishes the gods and makes them mortals. Forced to walk the earth, they are savagely hunted by the descendants of ancient bloodlines who are eager to kill a god and seize their divine power and immortality. After her family was brutally murdered by a rival line, Law Perseus, I apologize in advance, I'm not really good with Greek gods' names at all. Sorry. Perseus, it's Perseus. Perseus fled, turning her back on the Aegon's cruel promise of eternal glory. For years, Law has honored her parents' memory by doing one thing: surviving. For years, she has pushed away dark thoughts of revenge, until now. As the next game dawns, Law finds Athena gravely wounded on her doorstep. The goddess offers her an alliance against their mutual enemy and a way to leave the Aegon behind forever. But Law's decision to reject the hunt will come at a deadly cost, and may not be enough to stop the rise of a new god with the power to destroy all of humanity. Like, how cool does that sound? Like, that just sounds sick. So that was that. I got that. I'm excited to read that. I actually started reading it. Sorry. I just started it yesterday though, so I'm not that far into it. But so far it's like really, really good. Yeah. So basically, let me go back to read for you the French Photographer. So, a spellbinding novel inspired by the true story of one of the first female war photojournalists. That's the other thing I didn't mention. A lot of Natasha Lester's books are about, women in history that perhaps their name was forgotten, or they did something quite heroic at the time, but because, obviously women weren't celebrated as much as what they are now, their stories have been left out. And so she really gives them life. And I think that is something that is so amazing, because we should be reading about these women, because they were trailblazers for women today. And I think by giving them their story back, you're giving women and young girls and teenagers today the ability to see, well, hey, there are people out there that they weren't given awards and they weren't treated like royalty, but you know what? They stood up, they did something, they achieved something. And so that doesn't mean that you can't either, just because you're not recognized for it like you should be. And so I really love her books because of that, and that's why I want to have a collection of them. I think it's really important. So anyway, let me continue on. Paris, 1942. When Jessica May's modelling career is abruptly cut short, she is assigned to the war in Europe as a photojournalist for Vogue. But when she arrives, the army men make her life as difficult as possible. 3 friendships change that. Journalist Martha Gellhorn encourages Jess to bend the rules. Paratrooper Dan Holworth takes her to the front to find the stories that matter, and an orphaned little girl, Victorine, shows her love, but success comes at a price. France, 2005. Australian curator Darcy Halworth arrives at a beautiful chateau to manage a famous collection of photographs. What begins as another job becomes far more disquieting as Darcy uncovers the true identity of the mysterious photographer and realizes that she is connected to Darcy's own mother, Victorine. Crossing a war-torn Europe, the French photographer is a story of courage, heartbreak, and forgiveness by international best-selling author Natasha Lester. But anyway, so yeah, I think, this is amazing. I can't wait to read it. Let's keep this rolling to the next book that I got. So the next book is called I Heart New York. I'm a sucker for cheesy, easy to read romances. This kind of was right up my alley. And when I walked into Kmart, they kind of had like this giant sale and books were $4, so I just couldn't say no, because I was like, $4, like a Big Mac costs more, so I just bought books. But yeah, so basically, I Heart New York. Fleeing her cheating boyfriend and clutching little more than a crumbled bridesmaid dress, a pair of Louboutins and her passport, Angela jumps on a plane destination NYC. Holed up in a cute hotel room, Angela gets a New York makeover from her NBF, Jenny, and a whirlwind tour of the city that never sleeps. Before she knows it, Angela is dating 2 sexy guys. And, best of all, she gets to write about it in her new blog, Carrie Bradshaw Eat Your Heart Out. But it's one thing telling readers about your romantic dilemma, it's another thing figuring them out for yourself. Angela has fallen head over heels for the Big Apple. But does she heart New York more than home? Yeah, so this is a pretty easy read, but it just sounds so cute, and I'm so excited to read it. I've never read anything by Lindsay Kelk before, but I'm excited to give her a go. You never know. Always on the hunt for new authors. I just think that so many people have so many different ways of telling a story, and it's so important to listen and read. So the next book I got is called Secrets of Covenden. This one sounds really cool too. I am kind of, okay, so if you may not know this about me, but I'm obsessed with Bridgerton, and I'm just waiting for the Duke and I to come, because it's getting a new cover, like all of the series, all the 9 books are getting new covers. And I'm just waiting for them to kind of hit our shores here in Australia. And so I'm in that zone of like Regency kind of romances, and I just kind of want to read more of those. I'm so obsessed. This isn't Regency romance, but it's pretty historical kind of. London, 1949. This is nowhere near Regency, but anyway. The new look is in. Princess Elizabeth's wedding has raised morale, and the country is filled with a new energy. Alicia Stanton, niece of the Earl of Mulberry, is making her mark in the glamorous film world. Alongside her, Victoria Brown, a wartime evacuee, is starting out as a fashion photographer. Life is full of opportunity. But at Covenden Hall, the stately home where they grew up, the Second World War has exacted a terrible price, and the estate is facing bankruptcy. And when Cavenden's secrets start to rise to the surface, young and old alike are threatened. Can the families unite to save the house and their fortune? I think I made a mistake. I don't know if I was supposed to buy this book. Like, it sounds okay, but I thought I was supposed to buy a different one. Ugh. Well, I guess we're gonna find out. Okay, the next book I got is this. Usually I don't like multiple short stories in one format because I find if I really like a book and then I have to continue to, like, the reason why I don't like short stories in multiple formats is because if I don't like a book, it ends and then I start a new one and then I like these characters and then it ends and then I start another one. Like, it's just too confusing for my little brain. And I like, you know, longer stories obviously, but I think this is a pretty long book anyway. So there's 4 stories in this book. The first one is The Italian's Christmas Child. Italian tycoon Vito Zaffari has retreated to his friend's snow-covered English country cottage, determined to shut out the world, until a beautiful bombshell dressed as Santa literally crashes into his Christmas. Innocent Holly Cleaver sneaks under Vito's defenses, but when he finds her gone the next day, he's sure she'll be easy to forget, until he discovers that their one night of passion has a shocking Christmas consequence. Bum bum bum. The next one is called A Christmas Miracle. Trinity Walker has learnt the hard way to stand on her own 2 feet for her 6th son, Oscar. But when ex-army surgeon Reed Hamilton walks into her life and offers her a job and a home, she can't refuse. He might ruffle her feathers, but Trinity can't help falling for the knight in motorbike leathers. Reed never expected this little family to bring such sparkle into his cynical life, but now he'll do whatever he can to give Trinity the love she deserves this Christmas. The next book is Billionaire Boss Baby, Holiday Baby. Like, these are a lot of like Mills and Boons kind of. Oh, it is by Mills and Boons. That is why. Oh dear. So being stranded with her crush-worthy boss isn't part of Danny Meadows' job description, but she and sexy CEO Nathaniel Winston are snowbound for Christmas, along with an adorable baby who might be Nathaniel's daughter. Nathaniel needs Danny's help, but his fantasies about his executive assistant are nowhere near as hot as the reality of having her in his home. And in his bed, when the snow melts, will he also be able to say goodbye? The last one in this series is called Stone Cold Christmas Ranger. Bennett Stevens will do anything to prove himself, but the Ranger never expected a cold case lead like bounty hunter Alyssa Ramirez, or that someone would target her. The only safe place she can hide is in Bennett's elite world. Alyssa knows all too well that trusting anyone can get you dead. Still, posing as Bennett's lover is seductive and risky, and exposing the truth can guarantee they won't live to celebrate Christmas. ... I think there was like 3 in there. I was like, wow, I can't wait to read. And there was one I was like, nah. But anyway, that sounds cool. And the last thing I have been like waiting to open. I don't know why they're like it's just gone dark. That's weird. I don't know why the camera just kind of went dark, but anyway. So the last thing I have is this very special parcel which I'm going to open. I cannot wait to see what's inside. Hi! That's my dog. How are you? You gonna sit down? She's not gonna sit down. Okay, so where's the little tabby thing? I thought it was here. The little tabby thing is here. Okay, so oh my god, cool. All right, so my first one, which is Crave, which I don't know if you know, but that's all it's in here. And the second book is Crush. This is kind of like a Vampire Academy, I guess, like, oh, no, it's not like, it's a modern day version of Vampire Academy from what I understand. I have not read it yet. I have heard so many good things about it. I'm looking forward to the third book, because this is going to be 3 books. So I bought the first 2 and the third book will be coming out soon. But I've heard so many good things about this book and I'm super excited to read it. I will read the blurb of Crave for you. So basically, there is nothing normal about Katamia Academy. Nothing that is except Grace, the lone mortal in an elite school for witches, shapeshifters, and vampires. Grace is a curiosity to some of her fellow students and an affront to others. When she is vicariously attacked within days of her arrival, it quickly becomes clear that someone will go to great lengths to see her dead. Caught between warring factions, her life on the line, Grace doesn't have long to decide who she can trust, who she can love, and who she most definitely can't. So, that's that one. And then the second book in the series, obviously, is following on. But I'm super excited to read those. I cannot wait. She's kind of living a dream for a lot of people. She's a author who published her book through like Entangled Teen, I believe, and then they just kind of did so well, like so well. They're now published through Hottest Donington, so that just shows you how well she did. Yeah, like basically within like a few months of being on the market, she became a New York Times bestselling author. This was her debut novel as well, so that's crazy to think. So super excited to read that. I'm a vampire addict. I love vampires, so I cannot wait. But thank you all for joining me and my little book haul. I'm super excited. Cannot wait to get more books, even though I told myself I cannot get more books. Doesn't matter. We have this big addiction, and that's the life of a bookaholic. See you all next time, and my little book haul. I'll see you all next time.